two, three. Hello and welcome back to another episode of Eason Music Coffee Chat. I'm Anson
Abby.
I'm Sanghua.
and we are from
Eason Music. Okay, Eason Music is a company that started in 1978 and we sell instruments, we do music lessons, we do restore and repairs, and we also organize performances for company events and launches and dinner
and
events.
many more.
Yes.
Yeah, so
Alright.
today's is quite a gloomy day, but I don't think it's very gloomy in this room right now because we have actually have 4 people and it's actually our first time having so many people in our podcast. And who's our 4th guest today? Well, he's a very well-known professional Chinese orchestra musician. I almost say music instrument. He's a very well-known Chinese orchestra musician, and he's also a well-known music educator here in Singapore who teaches in different level of 学府, different schools. So that you have different levels like secondary school, JC,
Institute
and
as
even
well.
university. And if you're watching the video right now, you can definitely see who it is. But if you're hearing it on our podcast right now, let's give a warm welcome to a very good friend of ours, Mr. Wilson Neo.
Yo.
Yay! Hello, 老师.
Good morning, everyone.
Yes, good morning. So why did we invite Mr. Neo? It's because today's discussion is about DSA. What is DSA, first of all? DSA is a direct school admission, and it's for students from primary school who want to DSA into secondary school. They can go through this program. We can talk more about it later. So they go through this
And also
admission,
secondary to JC as well.
secondary school to JC.
Yeah.
But I don't think it applies to university, right?
No, it
No.
doesn't.
Okay,
it
so it's
doesn't.
just primary school to secondary school and secondary school to JC.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they can use their talents to get into the school of their choice even before, if it's primary school to secondary school, even before they get their PSLE results. Yeah, so they'll be guaranteed a place inside a school, and if their PSLE results is not too bad, then they will be accepted in school.
Yeah, and of course, disclaimer, I never studied secondary school or JC here in Singapore, so there will be I might be asking a lot of questions.
Which is good.
Or I might just take a back seat and just listen to your talk today.
Questions are good. I mean,
Yeah.
just imagine that you are
Applying.
I'm a parent and I want my kid to take part in the DSA. What should I do?
Yes. Just imagine you're a parent, because seriously, this episode is very should be very interesting and beneficial to parents who are considering DSA, especially through using Chinese orchestra. So today we're going to share the insights stories of how DSA for Chinese orchestra works. And so, I mean, we're very glad to have Mr. Neo here because he has been involved in quite a lot of DSA selections and also the whole process. And we have Bi Yu here, who also is herself a live example of DSA
I've been through
person.
it.
Yeah. So, and Mr. Neo, because he's an instructor in a lot of schools and he has been in the thick of things in the whole DSA process, picking people, and also he has also had some students who went through DSA. So I think today's session will be very, very interesting. Maybe you like tell us about your DSA experience. You went through DSA to go to where?
From where to where? Yeah.
From secondary to JC actually. Previously, my parents wanted me to go from primary to secondary, but I think they did not get the idea of DSA.
But you were playing since primary
I
school,
was
right?
playing since primary school. So they wanted to use this talent to, let me get involved.
What talent is that?
Pipa, playing pipa in school.
Chinese dance.
Yeah, Chinese. I used to play. I used to dance, but yeah. So mine was mainly from secondary to JC.
Mm-hmm.
Then I applied for 2 schools because I was very scared. I don't know whether like how the process is like, and it was like the first time I actually got myself into like using talents to get into like a institute itself. Yeah, so the process was, I barely remember because it was about 20 over years ago. So I'm really not sure how it changed from back when I experienced it and how like today Mr. Neo will share also.
Okay, I think recently it's been the DSA process is quite easy lah. I mean, not for Chinese
Easy?
orchestra. The application process, you just need to fill up some details, then you can just send to various schools. Last time when I do have kids also who went through.
Oh, not you,
You
DSA
went
lah.
through.
Not me lah. I mean, they have to write long testimonials, send letters
Oh, yeah,
to the
yeah, yeah.
school. It's a very
Now everything's online,
difficult
portal,
process.
and you can
Yeah.
just choose based on that.
and there's a lot of options which you just choose and fill in little bits of information. Last time you have to really like think of how I should phrase it so that my achievements look very
Good.
Like
bombastic.
cream of the crop, like that.
Yeah, it's like applying for job like that. You know? But right now it's just putting some basic information and click send, and you will send to all the schools.
Oh,
Feels like it. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean,
it's still up to the school to pick lah.
Yeah.
so I think the good thing about this is the students or the parents do not need to go through a lot of preparation effort. But the bad thing is you will not be able to not really blow up, but beautify your achievements. You can only write maybe one-liner kind of thing, you know.
Like you can't you can't market yourself even more.
You can't stand out. lah.
Yes. Yeah. So maybe that's the idea is the first round they would want just the bare minimum, the data to sieve out. Then maybe the second part, then they go through this part of trying to know more about your achievements. I don't know. Well, Mr. Neo, assuming that a person has submitted the request for DSA, what happens after that?
Okay, so what you guys mentioned in front is actually the preparation work to go for the DSA. So for me, I'm not very familiar with the preparation part. So like you register via online, then you have to let the school ask you for the interview. Okay, for my case, right, it's a bit different. I'm like sitting in for the DSA.
You're
So-
already in the DSA process.
Yes, I'm
already.
inside the DSA process. So I also some DSA candidates, instructors. So what the parents actually wanted is hopefully before they go for their O levels or before they go for their PSLE, they wanted their child to secure a place in a good JC or maybe a good secondary school. I think that's what all parents wanted, the best for their children. So they are trying very hard and basically exploring all ways to make sure that they can get in. So DSA is one of the choices if their kids have their talent in either in sports, in performing arts, in whatever CCA,
Sciences.
roles.
leadership roles or whatever they have. So they will try their very best to apply. And when it comes to Chinese orchestra, this segment, right, that I believe inside the form there is something like, may I know what grade have you obtained? For your particular instrument. So so this is the very, very surface things, what the parents see. But for schools, right, actually they all function in very, very different ways.
Okay.
So it's like some schools will ask you that, okay, you need to have a certain grading and you must be able to live audition, play maybe your pieces. So there will be examiner around to grade you, like put you on which ranking. Then and see whether you're able to sight read. Sight read is like we give you a new piece, then you are supposed to play the piece immediately. Not playing perfect, but at least understand what the piece is saying about, so that the school or the examiner knows that your level of reading the scores. So as a examiner, for me, right, DSA student must at least fulfill the need to be inside the combined team without going through the basics anymore. So it's like immediately if I enroll you into the DSA program, you must be able to cope the full orchestra combined practices. I think for here, everyone should know that Chinese orchestra training, if you are we don't say about DSA, okay, we say that when you are just inside the orchestra, if you don't know the instrument, you all have to take up basics.
Yeah.
This is very standard. So during you are playing in basics, you cannot enter combined because you know nothing.
Yeah.
Because you don't know how to operate the instrument. So you need to some schools maybe around 6 months, some school maybe 4 months of just basic training. Then after that you just go into the combined and then you grow from there. But for DSA, I think the very, very basic requirement is you can immediately get into the combined because you no need to learn the basics anymore. Yeah. So now, of course, the better you are, the chances is higher lah.
Okay.
So let's say I attain grade 8 or I am maybe the prize winner of national competition. Of course, this is confirmed you can be inside the combined team lah. Okay. Schools, every school works very differently, and also they have 名额, how to say 名额 in English?
Quota.
Yeah, they have a quota to reach. And also this quota is actually spread across the whole CCA. It's not only for Chinese orchestra. So maybe track and field, maybe band, maybe dance, or whatever CCA that can require a DSA entry to. And let's say the school decided to give Chinese orchestra 2 slots. 2 slots of DSA. So and the DSA has actually rapidly increased throughout the whole years. So since I think before COVID is around 14K of application. Now it's around 39K of application.
Like 39K of numbers of students applying
for DSA. Yeah. So it's actually growing a lot. And I think the schools also open up more of the DSA slots to the students. Yeah. So okay, we go back to the part. Let's say Chinese orchestra only have 2 slots. Okay. As the examiner and also as the most likely is the conductor. Okay. He himself or she himself he or she know that her orchestra manpower. Okay. So for this is a bit technical. So like if you know that you don't have sonat players, especially JC, because for JC we only have 2 years. Basically, JC, the more important for all schools should be the SYF the Singapore Youth Festival. If you know that you don't have a sonat player and there's one sonat player coming for the DSA, most likely the chances is super high. Yeah, rather than like I have 20 Erhu players. I already have I have 20 Erhu players. I have no Shen player. So if there are around 6 DSA, I only have 1 slot. Most likely the sonat player is going to get in. Because according to the needs of the
CO.
The CO, yes.
Yeah.
No point recruiting 5 more Erhu while I have no sonat. Then in the end, I still cannot perform. And the school, the school doesn't see the advantage of having more Erhu players inside. Yeah, so this is also one of the terms that we the schools are actually considering. Of course, every school has every very different type of ways of dealing with the DSA. Yeah, it's very, very different. So my students who came to me for DSA, right, most of them is 临时抱佛脚. How do I say
Not
this
only your
in-
students, I think
My students, actually not my students,
A lot of people.
all students.
a lot of parents, a lot of
Yeah.
parents just like,
Last minute work.
hi, my son have a DSA next in 2 weeks time. Could you like prepare them? Like, are we miracle workers?
They don't know how to bowl yet.
Oh, jialat, that one very jialat.
Okay, so I understand parents' concern because normally DSA is only being taken when they are about to graduate. Normally it's
yeah lor.
only
the
during
P5,
that year.
P6 like that.
Yeah, but they actually doesn't know that if you don't train since like for primary school is maybe the first day they touch an instrument, maybe P3
P3, P4,
or
like that.
P4 around there. Then for secondary school is like P1.
Sec 1.
Sorry, Sec 1. I'm sorry, Sec 1. Sec 1. Anyway, if he touch the instrument from P1, right, most likely he's going to get in DSA JC. If he carry on play all the way. Okay, so there's always a very, very big disadvantage. I won't say slight, I would say a very, very big disadvantage. If you try to pick up the whole instrument within 2 months, try to perfect instrument or even try to make it for the audition. Okay, of course the Turn company, actually every year they host their own
Examinations.
examination gradings, right?
Correct.
They specifically put one timing is actually for the DSA.
Yes.
Yeah, so they can have their cert in the middle of the year. Normally
theirs is end of the year.
Yeah, it's always
But
at
they
end of the
open
year.
up
They
in
open
the
up for the
mid-year now.
DSA.
Yeah.
Yeah. So for this slot, but to me, right, it's a bit of the 临时抱佛脚. Yeah, so my
True last minute.
Yes, my suggestion is always, if you want to go for DSA as a route, okay,
Plan your.
yeah, you have to
Plan
plan
early.
super early.
Plan years ahead.
Yeah, you plan years ahead. Okay, and number 2, very sorry to say, and because I've been in this DSA instructor for a long time, if you can get to the school using your grades instead of DSA, yeah, because that is the best way, really the best way. And also, if your son or daughter's result is really not up to grade, right, I will see a lot of disadvantages,
A lot of challenges.
and
Struggles.
also yes, and also challenges that your kid might find lah.
Face.
Okay.
Academically.
Yeah, there is too many cases of people dropping out, cannot cope with the academy. I mean the academy. Of course, the playing the DSA talent is no problem. Yeah, academy. Then I see students being dropped out, transferred to other schools, in the middle. So it's a bit of the 先苦后甜. Then if-
Suffer first and then you reap the reward.
yes, correct. So I myself I don't go through any DSA. I mean, I'm only the examiner. Okay. So basically, I really hope that if you really want to get to the school, right, the best way is still through your grades. DSA is just a 辅助. It's just a
Support, helping.
Yeah, it's just a
Stepping
support.
stone.
Don't put all your hopes in DSA. Yeah, don't put all your hopes in DSA. Even if, and also try to assess your kid and let them know that of course getting a good school is very, very important. I do agree with this. But if it's way beyond your kid ability, and most of the parents don't really agree on this. They will say that my kid can do it.
They see them as special.
After 1 year, my kid cannot do it. Yeah. So it's more of like 你要看到那个 future, you need to see
You have to see further ahead.
But of course, we cannot know your kid's ability by just playing on that 5 minutes, 10 minutes slot. So you yourself know the kids more actually. Yeah, to what extent 他可以做得到. So if you like try to push your way through the DSA, then eventually he get into the DSA, but in the end he or she is going to suffer during the first year or maybe during the second year. Be drop out, transfer to other school. I have students who suddenly come to neighborhood schools. He or she is actually very good in the instrument. I was also, of course, it's a good asset to me for the neighborhood school also. But I'm being puzzled. Question mark. How come you post to this school or something like that? And I was like, I drop out. Drop out from where? And you realize that you drop out from a very good school because he cannot cope with the academy. So I was like, then how do you get in the first place? DSA. Yeah, so you get into the DSA. Then after that, he cannot cope with the academy. She feel every subject that is available in the school. Then after that, posted to a neighborhood school, and in the end, he and she can cope with it. Yeah, can cope with the studies.
Lah.
Yeah, and also I think eventually he or she is still. I cannot reveal the student's name or even the gender, but I think the student is happy now. Yeah, because
when it's not
the
so
student can
stressful.
cope. Yeah, can cope with everything, and the student enjoy playing the orchestra also.
Yeah, because I think most parents would think that their child is special and is good, or they would like to
Limitless.
think very hopeful. So sometimes they do not see that the child maybe cannot cope in this particular school. It's not because maybe it's not their time yet. Some people mature later, and maybe the culture just doesn't fit. Sometimes you are in a group of elite people, then your self-esteem gets affected. Then you just go on a downward spiral. Maybe you need to be in a
Environment.
an environment that is not so competitive and everybody is more maybe forgiving. It's like a big fish in a
Small pond.
Small pond.
Or
Yeah.
small fish in a big pond, whichever works.
Yes.
Okay, since we're on this topic, I know that Pi has her own experience to share about this.
Yeah, so I'm the I managed to push through in my DSA and got into quite a good JC.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but like what Mr. Neo shared, like really look at your academics and also your DSA, because as much as I love going to orchestras, I love to play instruments, right? I realized that my academic wasn't catching up. And it was because it's 2 years. Actually, it's less than 2 years with all like SIF practice and also preparation for project work and also like to A level. It's actually 1.5 years to be more exact, with all the breaks in between lah. So academics didn't get the better of me. I'm barely okay. So my O level results barely made the mark that the school actually accept.
Okay.
Meaning to say, even DSA, right, they have a certain like the
Cut-off
school
point like
the
that.
school that I went to had a certain cutoff point. So what I experienced was like, okay, mine was over that cutoff point. They had a meeting with those group of students that are over the cutoff point, and they asked like, do you all want to, maybe try other alternatives? Meaning
Like
to
other
say
schools?
other schools,
Okay.
like after we got our O-level results. So some of us feel like, maybe we can, push through and all, like go and continue like schooling and see how things works lah. But I think it's really through how we experience school, and the culture is very different from what I experienced back in my secondary school. So I DSA into 2 schools, one of which I feel I did not have a good experience because the teachers was like, you like never do your homework and then you come for interview. Then the second one was, I went there because I heard that the principal over there is quite nice. Okay, not too academic, like heavy principal, instead of the other school that I was contemplating to go lah. So I got into that school,
The one with the good principal.
the good principal. Then I heard that the other school principal that I didn't want to go came over to this school.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Fated leh. This is fate
命中
leh.
注定。
是
Yeah lor.
so it's like, how hard can academic be, Work hard can already. That's my concept. Like, as long as I work hard, I would, bear the fruits of my academic. But unfortunately, did not cope well, and also because I have a lot of other commitments, I had to travel out of Singapore to do a performance to represent Singapore, but
In Chinese orchestra.
not in Chinese orchestra. So it's Chinese crosstalk.
Oh, okay.
So I had to fly to Tianjin. Then the school didn't allow because all my grades was only you.
bare
Yeah, so you is
bare
like a
minimum.
very bad grade. Like
Oh.
I didn't
Ungraded.
it's I
ungraded.
couldn't grade like from my GP all the way to like all my other few subjects. Yeah, was really bad. So I have to talk terms with the school in order for me to fly overseas, and I agreed to stay back after school every day for night studies, and also to stop CCA. That crushed me, and that was like, wow, I came to the school with DSA and you tell me I cannot go CCA. Then I'm like, okay, no choice. So after dropping a few H2 to H1 and going through the last few half of the year in school, my grades did not do as well lah. Finals, my H1 got good grades, but in the end I decided to drop out. Okay, mainly because on one hand I feel it's the culture. I wasn't suited in the culture. I was asked to say like, you want to transfer school during my schooling periods, which I feel that I don't get the support from my teachers as well. And I couldn't go CCA. So I decided to shift my path to poly instead, which I got like, happier. I love the culture in poly. So which is why it's very important to really see, I think it's more on the secondary school to JC or / poly side. Because back then when I DSA into JC is because my parents feel that's the only way for me to get into uni. Yeah, but nowadays it's not this concept like you can go JC, uni, poly, uni, yeah, anyway. So really look into academic. That's why I keep telling my students' parents and also parents that are interested to get their child into DSA. Because that 1 year, just that 1 year for JC, yeah, I was emotionally not very stable. I was like crying every day to school and all.
Aiyo.
Yeah.
So fun fact,
Yes.
PU eventually went to university
Yes,
also.
yes.
Yeah, a reputable university for that matter also.
Yeah.
So we've heard from the instructor's point of view and even from a student's experience point of view. So now actually hearing all this, right, I do have some come up with a few questions because maybe I can ask as a parent myself. I mean, I'm not a parent, sorry. I can ask at the point of view of a parent.
I do have some questions also.
Yeah.
And I'm a parent.
Yeah.
I'm a parent too. So.
So we just barely scratched the surface. So I just want to get it more in depth. So because back to Mr. Nyo, he mentioned how during the selection process, during the audition process, right, there's like your grading, there's ability to read scores, then whether you can cope with combined pieces, and the main focus is SYF, all this, right? So I just want to start off, is grade really important? Because before we let Mr. Nyo answer, right, I do know people who can play really well but never gotten any grading exam before, versus people who actually got grade 7 or grade 6 but they can just barely cope with combined pieces because all they know is playing solo pieces. So I would like to throw the ball to Mr. Nyo. Like, is grade really important, and does it reflect the person, the player, properly?
I am the one with no grades.
And yet, professional musician.
Okay, grades is just how do I
Filter.
Yeah, it's just to that means it look good on paper lah. Before you go to the examiner to showcase your skills, right? We do have something like a list of what achievement you have. So the gradings, yes, on paper it really helps, but it's still down to your playing. Eventually, you still have to show me what you have in front of me lah, because for live audition lah, or maybe for during COVID is recorded audition, if I'm not wrong.
Okay.
Yeah, it's recorded audition. So I actually doesn't, for orchestra purposes, right? If I am the examiner, I don't need you to be a super soloist. I just need you to contribute to the orchestra. So sight reading scores to me is more important than how well is your skill. Of course, I do agree that basics, if you have very good basics, right? Normally combined pieces it's not an issue for you. Yeah, but of course, like what Anson say, I do have students who has like grade 9, grade 10, grade 11, or grade 20 or something like
Wait,
that.
what?
Yeah, but it can't even play a note out of the sight reading pieces that I give. So this is a bit, sometimes you will feel it's a bit cursy. You understand? You have the basic, but you don't know how to survive in the orchestra. So in this point, right, it's your grades will be, for me, the way I grade you, it will be actually being pulled down a lot. Number two, like if you have no grades at all, you just come in, but because you are supposed to play something before, showcase yourself first before I pass you the sight reading piece. Yeah, so you can play normally, everything is quite okay. Then after that, when I show you the sight reading piece, you can play with no difficulty. I understand for sight reading, you cannot be perfect because this is the first time that you look at the score. Okay, but you can manage to play everything. You are very clear with your instrument. You know how to adjust accordingly. I will appreciate this member more actually.
Okay, I just want to say that the grades are important in the first round when you submit for DSA because they need some way to sieve out the people who are so-called beginners and the so-called intermediate or advanced people. So you need to at least get a grade. I don't know what would be a good grade, 3 or 5?
Okay, for your case, right, this is under the preparation in which I'm not involved.
Okay, let's
so that's why I'm not sure about this preparation to the DSA. Yeah.
Okay, but there is this grade that I presume that the people would look at. Let's assume that it is grade 5.
Yeah.
So assuming that there are 20 people who go apply to this school And the first round, they'll look at people with grade 5 and grade 3. And those lower grades, then they'll just 淘汰, which is...
Is it like they will
Tao Tai
see through this?
Yeah, I mean that is the logical way. If not, you are not going to put in like the 20 people here and to let Mr. Neo interview.
Or any of the examiner.
Yeah, you need the first round of sieving out. So that's where the grading comes in. That's where it's important. But after they go into the door, then it will be what Mr. Neo is saying, which is you might have grade 9, then you play okay. But
like
your sight
crap.
reading is crap compared to someone who has grade 5 and plays
sight read.
well and can sight read. The one with grade 5 will be in a better position. So that's where the grade doesn't matter, after you go through the door. But the first door,
The application part.
yeah, the application part, you do need that. So yes, so please do go and get a grade.
So bottom line is just have a grade on paper so you can get through the first
I
door.
think that would help
Yeah.
the school teachers because the school teachers might not have gone through, learning through the instrument. So that grade is an indicator for them to, see through those things. Yeah.
Yeah.
So just now
Sight
Mr. Nyo mentioned about sight reading, right? So sight reading, do you let students read through the score like 1 minute before they start playing or immediately on the spot play now?
Oh no, they will have to read through. Normally for professionals, we only have 3 minutes to read the score.
Okay.
So I give them 10 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
So like before they come in, like
remember
when they
mine
wait
was 10
outside, they let them see the
Oh
score.
no, okay, so the process should be the student come in, okay, he's supposed to play, or he or she is supposed to play the solo piece.
Okay.
Okay, so if he or she doesn't have any solo plays, they can play an excerpt from their combined pieces or something
Okay.
like that. Okay, after finishing, okay, then we will pass in the score. Then we just wait for 10 minutes.
Then just sit there.
Yeah, because
You just stare at them.
we of course we will do our own stuff lah. Or maybe
They will contact
if
me.
there are 2 examiners, they can discuss on whether how potential is this student or
That's
something
very
like that.
stressful.
Yeah, the student will just sit there without touching the instrument, just look at the
Oh,
score.
they cannot even like
Oh.
more.
No, they
more.
cannot.
Oh.
Yeah, so I mean this is our process
Yeah,
lah.
because different school, different.
Yeah.
Yeah, so every school might be different. Maybe they will just like pass the score immediately you play or something like that lah. For me, I will give it a good 10 minutes. So after that 10 minutes, then they will start to play. Okay. During the playing, of course, it's not perfect because it's the first time they try the score. Okay, so a bit out of tune, but we can actually determine the potential and also and see whether if this student is careful with all the traps that we set up inside the
So even the pieces you pick for sight reading is
yeah, there are some tricky parts like accidentals,
Oh.
yeah,
rhythm,
time
rest.
change, dynamic. Yeah, so see whether they are careful with this. But most of the time, dynamic is being oftenly ignored. They just want to play out everything. Yeah, so but we also understand that it's their first time reading and they are not professionals. They try their very best to read what they can. And some of the students, right, despite having low grades, like maybe grade 5, certainly grade 3, right, they can finish everything. And they are very clear of what they are doing. Okay, but some of them, like even obtaining like grade 8, grade 9, I think they are more focused on their solo piece. Yeah, and maybe never try new pieces before or something like that. So actually, they are lack of combined experience. More of them, you can actually see it within one shot.
So some schools, right? Before the students go for audition, right? The schools will give them what are the requirements, like or
Yeah.
prepare an excerpt, like
Yes.
play
5
slow,
minutes, 10
play fast, right? Right? Yeah. So I want to ask if the school, for example, they say, right, prepare a slow excerpt and a fast excerpt. Can it be in just one song? Because you know how Shine's orchestra pieces, solo pieces, right? There's fast and slow, but can it be in the same song?
Yes, certainly.
Oh.
Sure.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what you play as long as it's fast and slow. Yeah.
You eventually also can use combined pieces. If
Can
you-
use combined
But
pieces.
usually people who go for this already has grading experience, so they would just choose their grading pieces lah.
Most of them choose their grading pieces.
Have you come across candidates
yes.
that just use combined pieces?
Yes, a lot. In fact, a lot. And you will be surprised some of them, if they use their excerpt pieces, right, they tend to sight read a bit faster also.
Because it's similar to what
They are more of a combined person than a soloist. But I have to agree that although solo pieces, that means they focus more on their solo pieces, right? They are a bit slower in sight reading, but they have better basics. Yeah, through their posture, you can see that they have better basics. Yeah, so they are also often being considered as a pass for the DSA. And also for DSA, right, maybe I would like to add on, it's according to ranking also. Yeah, it's also according to ranking. So
In what way?
the for some schools they will say, okay, let's say you have 10 candidates. Okay, no matter what instrument, there are maybe like 5 二胡, 2唢呐, 1 琵琶, 1中阮, 1笛子 or something like that. Okay, they were asked to grade them according to their ranks. Let's say, okay, the first to get in, maybe 琵琶. Okay, second, 唢呐, third, 二胡, blah, 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 rank down. Okay, then we are to submit the list. So if you are at the very bottom, that means the DSA, the 10th, right? Don't be discouraged because the first might not choose the school.
Okay.
Yeah, and also if the first, right, let's say this student A, he or she got the first DSA ranking, but in the end, right, he or she get a very, very good result. So he or she
I want
actually
to choose to use academics to
get into the school instead of the DSA, and then the DSA slot will be passed to the second one. So this is the way it works.
But I thought after you have to accept before your results come out, Then if you accept the reading, then you can
you
reject,
accept. Then after that, for some of them in which I know, right, they immediately discard and choose another school instead of going to that school.
They relinquish.
Yeah, they just release.
You mean after they get the results?
Yes, after they get a result, then it's like, I got
better grades.
finally my O level, I get 2 points. I can go anywhere I want.
2 points.
2 points, really, you can go anywhere. The perfect score, right?
It's like, for example, I already decided that my DSA allows me to go to school A, but then my grades are so good
that I can go to school B,
right?
school C.
And actually school B is my dream school like that.
Yeah, something like that. So they discard and they go to the other school. So after that, the DSA slot will be being like, let's say for the school, right, they say they never choose us. Yeah, for the school in the end, they say they never choose us.
That's for secondary school going to JC, is it? Because for primary school going to secondary school, they say that they are not allowed to submit school choices during the S1 posting process. They are also not allowed to transfer to other secondary school after the release of PSLE results.
For primary school, I'm not very sure. Mine is the JC. Mine is for the JC.
The students that I send to DSA is also usually secondary
Primary
school
school to JC.
Okay.
So for primary school, we have this restriction.
Yes.
Yeah, but for secondary school, is to JC is another. Maybe it's another road.
That's something new to me.
Yeah. So they might discard. They want to wear white pants. Yeah. They want to go to higher institution or something like that.
Or brown, whatever.
Yeah. So actually, when I'm in, every year the school renew our instructors contract, right? They always have these meetings telling you that, can you tell our students to go to their affiliated JC or something like that. Always tell us to encourage them, right? But
when better choice comes,
the student always have better choices. Like okay, if I can get such a good grades, why would I want to go to the affiliated one? I can actually go to a better JC. Yeah. Yes. So I think for DSA it might be working this way also. So if like, okay, same thing, I will try everything. I'll try all the schools that I can for all the JCs I can. Then in the end, I get the perfect score. Why am I going to this DSA and being locked in the CCA or something like that? Because
you must join.
You must join the
Yes.
CCA. So I just might as well. I have good grades, and I believe for this grade, right, every school is open to me. Everyone wants me. Yeah,
maybe they want to change CCA, like change
I can go
dance.
there. I can go to other CCA also.
Try something
so
new.
for them is a bus prime. So anyway, I go back to my topic of the ranking. So the ranking will be passed down.
Okay.
So will be passed down to the next available DSA. I mean, this is for the secondary to JC school. Yeah, for primary to secondary, I'm not very sure the how you actually process. Okay, so in the end, right, the few bottom might get it.
So don't be discouraged.
And the case really happened to some of my schools. Like when we choose the student, after that I know that the student get very, very good result. Then how come he's not in the JC level? Yeah, in the end it's not going all. The student might be like some of them have lessons with me, they go for the DSA. Then after that they come back, they say, 老师, I got the perfect score. I'm not going to that school. Just I'm not going to that school.
Sure.
I just want to go to I want to go and wear white pants and something like that. Something like that. So to very good JCs or something like that. Yeah, because and I no need to play my instrument anymore, or something like that.
Oh, okay. As a teacher, I'll be so sad lah.
Yeah, it's quite saddening, but you know they want to try something new as they grow older. Yeah, so they'll go there. You know, maybe if they are in a single gender environment, so going to JC is like a mixed gender also. Yeah, they also want to explore more.
There's no single gendered school JC lah. So
No,
it's
there's
okay.
no.
Yeah, so either way, they will still have to go to mixed gender.
Yeah, so they will be more, hype. Yeah, it's
Okay,
new
yeah.
experience for them.
Revealing the school more.
Okay. Wait.
Yes.
The sight reading one.
Uh,
Cause like nowadays, a lot of schools start to read in stave.
oh yeah.
Yeah, so is it compulsory for them to learn theory or not? Cause I got a lot of parents asking
Western
me like,
score,
yeah,
Western notation.
My suggestion is understand both, but try to be very good in one.
oh,
But the school usually would give which one? Jianpu.
Jianpu.
Uh,
Staves,
for my school, I will prepare both lah. The Western notation and also the numeric notation for them to sight read lah.
Yeah, but
So-
that's for your school lah.
Yeah, for my school lah, because for Chinese orchestra, most of the time is the
Still in Jianpu.
the
Numerical
Jianpu.
notation.
Yeah, but after so many years of training, right, of the school training, right, I realized that some of the students are actually can read Western better than the numeric one.
If they have like
If they
their
have
own
there's some background lah, like for my instrument the erhu, right, if they know how to play the violin, then when
No
they switch to the
problem.
erhu, it's actually no problem for them to read the Western one. In fact, they read a lot faster and they are much more in tune for that
intonation
instrument.
is better
Yeah,
lah.
its intonation is better. So I also teach university. So some of the university students they actually play the violin, they play the cello, they come to the Chinese orchestra, they want to learn the Chinese instrument. So they are always asking, can I have Western notation instead? Because they actually not very sure of what to actually read them. Of course, if we train them properly, they can read the numeric one lah. But I don't see the point that why they need to learn a new system. Well, their system work very well. The Western actually works very well for them. Yeah. So for schools, right, I understand most of the school lah. In fact, I only know some schools that are reading Western notations. Yeah, only a few of them. The rest,
Usually it's an elite school, so.
my neighborhood school read Western.
Okay, sorry for the overgeneralization.
Yeah, I'm also trying to promote the Western notation. Yeah, because I feel,
encourage to.
Yeah, I encourage to because I feel that it's more accurate and also more systematic.
You won't see the octave wrong at least.
Yes, for octaves, especially
Wow,
the
头痛
octaves. Yeah, but of course, I do agree that the numeric notation is easy to recognize because we all learn 1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, we always know that 3 is bigger than 2, 2 is bigger than 1. But
No,
for
one with a
leh.
dot on top, they don't know.
no,
it's
I
bigger.
okay.
leh.
I mean the first time when you start to read lah, the basic thing lah. 一定是小过2的嘛. So the 2 notes, the
don't
yeah,
know leh.
2 is always bigger than 1. And also you can immediately read 1 to 7. You don't need to read from 8 onwards. Yeah, but for Western notation, it's always moving around.
See the position.
Yeah, and you have to read the lines, all this. But
Read
because
between the lines.
Yeah, read between the lines, all the space, everything. So it's like learning a new language for them.
Correct.
For numbers, there's no new language to learn because they already know maths.
Yes.
Yeah, they already know how to read the numbers. So it's always easier to pick up. Always easier. But on the long run, I still think Western notation is better. Let's say I just off topic a bit. How does Ben know how to read?
New people in band.
There are people in band, they don't read numbers. Band is all Western notations. But how come they can cope? Be it in primary school or in
When they
secondary
first
school.
started out, they already started with.
Yeah, they have nothing. They have no numbers at all. Even they have no fingerings because their fingerings is so complex. I also don't know how they write down their fingerings. So it's just a matter of how you train your student to read the very initial stage. So if you like I always say in Chinese 你不要自废武功，你永远学不到。
Could you
Yeah.
translate that?
You need to like I'm so sorry.
You need to forego your previous skills in order to learn
To
the new
learn
skill.
new skills, yeah, something like that lah. Yeah, so I mean, we all learn the Western notation later, right? We
Yes.
also know the process of it.
It was painful.
Susah.
Yeah.
Susah.
Susah.
I'm still in the process. I still
Susah
cannot.
means.
Difficult.
I gave up.
Oh, okay.
Susah is
Yeah,
difficult.
I agree. I also took a long time to transfer over. But after I transfer over, I realized that actually it's
Easier.
It's a lot easier.
Yeah.
But we just need to take the step forward. But maybe for school, right, the time spent for the CCA, maybe most of the instructors think it's not worth it. Yeah, so we are trying to get the student to know to get
The
to know
basics
the
right first.
basics right.
Yeah.
So that's why for back to your side reading question, right? I will just prepare two just in case.
Okay.
Yeah, just in case.
Okay, that's nice. That's nice.
So for parents, you probably just need to learn numeric notation if you do not need to specifically go and learn. I mean, your child do not need to specifically go and learn the Western notation.
But
Yeah.
sorry to interrupt, but if you are DSA for cello and bass and percussion, you
Oh.
need to read the
Please do
Western
it in
notation.
Western, yes,
Okay,
yes.
yeah.
Definitely. Okay, and for parents, if your child gets into a school via DSA, you have to remain with the CCA throughout the whole duration.
You can opt out of it.
Yes.
I'm sad to actually to say that let's say let's talk about the student when they get into the school via the DSA.
Okay.
I can during my experience with some of the students, right, some of them doesn't seems very willing to
Oh, like
stay
very
in
forced.
they are like forced into the environment. Yeah, so
Is it for both secondary school and junior college?
for junior college maybe no, but for secondary school yes. Like what you say, because they cannot even they get good results, but they are already been bind to the school, right? Yeah, so when they get into the CCA, right, I can see some of the resistance for he or she to actually to always to attend the CCA, or when they attend the CCA they were like
臭脸. Oh, sian.
something like 写
Listless and
yeah, something like that. Of course,
Lifeless.
yeah, of course, instructors, most of the instructors and also the conductor know that they are from the DSA.
Oh.
Yeah, attendance is compulsory. Yeah, anyway, secondary school attendance is compulsory. So we can try to involve them as much as they can, as much as they want. The best outcome is always the students is happy coming to a CCA, they learn something more, they can contribute to the orchestra. This is the best outcome. But some of them, they might have some other thinkings. They are like, I don't like this CCA, but because I'm DSA, I'm stuck here for the next 4 years or maybe 5 years, or then I'm not happy here, but I have to be here. So there is a resistance, you understand? Yeah, sometimes when you ask them to, play this part, they don't want to play properly, or actually they can play better, you understand, if they practice high enough, but because they stop practicing,
They stop
they
caring.
think that they are good enough already for that, their skill set is good enough for the whole of the secondary school, and in which I think sometimes it's a pity also. Yeah, 蛮可惜的一件事情啊. So it also depends on the student itself also.
and the parents also, you know.
Yeah, the parents also lah. So I will say that this DSA thing is a bit of the double-edged.
Sword.
Yeah, double-edged sword. It helps the student, but it also might not help the student if they don't reach the requirement academically and also mentally to the new environment.
Yeah, so I just want to say that parent support is also very important after they get into the CCA, into the school that they wanted, because there's a lot of pressure also on the kid because they went into the CCA with the tag that is DSA. So a certain level of expectations.
Yes.
There is a certain level of expectation. So the parent should give their support in terms of, if possible, if financially possible, they should send the kid for
Private
private lessons, and also support in terms of instrument. That is the barest minimum. It's not that you get into the school already, then you will be like, oh, okay, that's all.
Yeah.
It's the school's problem and or my kid's problem.
Okay, so I share another point of view as an instructor, not as an examiner.
Okay.
So also during I might not be involved in some of the DSA
The
selection process. So when a student is being passed to me during my sectionals, then after, they will declare that, okay, this student is Sec 1 or JC 1, okay, come in via DSA. So in the instructor point of view, it's like, okay, this guy is good. That's why it's being selected. Correct. Yeah, this one is very good. Okay, but I have to do my own assessment with him. So after I just sit down, after you play, or he or she play, the student play. Then I will realize that he can barely cope with it or something like that. Or maybe there's even something wrong with his basics or something. Yeah, so that is the point where the instructors are stuck. Stuck as in, you should be inside the combine, but you can't even play anything well. You understand the
dilemma.
But you're already enrolled in the school. I cannot go to the school and complain, say that, hey, 你们怎么选的? How
you choose one?
how you choose this or something like that. Or maybe like what I say, this person is actually at the very bottom of the DSA ranking. Yeah, so in the end, the first few is not being chosen. After that, that's why 底下的那个人就过去了. Yeah, it's just being passed over. So sometimes instructors always have the dilemma, like, should I let him stick with the basic group? That means those newcomers. Or should I just throw into the combine? But if I throw into the combine, he cannot cope or she cannot cope. So, but if I throw you back to the basic, then what is your DSA for? 你进来的 DSA 的意义在哪里? Where is the purpose of coming for the DSA? Because if I throwing you back to the basics, then there's no point you are in the DSA category. Yeah, not inside the category.
I have a similar situation. Not similar. I have a situation, but opposite. It's primary school, so means haven't DSA yet. But the student already has private lessons outside.
Okay.
Yeah, so they already know how to play. And then, during sectionals, I have to teach the students who can't play the basics first. Then sometimes I feel like students who already know how to play, but they're like way ahead, right, felt a bit left out. Yeah, so then they're not learning because they already can play what. So eventually they start to slowly fade off, because they tell the parents that I'm not really contributing much.
Yeah.
Or like
I'm not learning much. I'm not learning much.
Yeah.
The teacher is only practicing with the
I feel left out, then just fade off. But then I, as the instructor, I already know like, oh, this student can play already. Yeah, so I was still encouraged like, oh, maybe you use sectional time to like practice the combined pieces first while I focus on the students who cannot play, or like I'll get back to you. Like I'll let her, you can join in later, because I also don't know what to teach, because perhaps the student know more 中软, like for example 中软, like you know more than what I can teach for the time being. So like, okay, I feel like there's a dilemma for instructor. Yeah, I mean a bit off topic. Yeah, but if this applies to a DSA, for example, like the DSA is like very good basics already, and it happens to fall in a sectional day, like don't have combined, some days we don't have combined. Then what do we do with that student? Like
for my instrument, right, is because it's a book. I'm sorry for Yang Qing. For Hu Qing, right, normally it's around 10 to 20 people. It's around that. That means I 1% have to versus so many people. So I always split them into 2 classrooms. So one is just the basic, and one is the ones that the seniors are, or the better players. Not better players, those combined players who able to enter combine. Okay, so they are split into 2 classrooms. I often always split my time equally to them. Yeah, so when I'm in normally I will attend the basics first. So I will just tell the senior, say that, okay, I want you to self-practice this part to this part. Okay, so that you all, when I come in, you all can show me what you all have learned. Okay, so I just go to the basics, then I practice with them, finish, then I come back to them. So it's like I will be jumping from here to there. So that I feel that like that, although my time is being split up, but I take care of both parties. Yeah, so I cannot totally ignore the new players, but I also cannot ignore the old players. So I think both of them need to improve at the same time. But because Yang Qing, right, you often being given only one room. If I'm not wrong, correct. Not given being one room. So yeah, I understand your dilemma. Yeah.
I think for what I experienced previously was they asked the seniors to teach juniors. Meaning to say the experienced one to teach the like beginners. Then because for Tampo Yueqi, the teacher has to teach a lot of instruments. You have to teach Liu Qing, Pipa, Yang Qing.
Different variation.
Variation, and they have different skills. So I think what my 老师 previously did was like she asked those more experienced students to teach like okay the beginners students where she places herself into like okay maybe Liu Qing first, then after that she go into like Zhongran, then Pipa, then come back round again. So maybe that's how you can try.
Yeah, my situation was it was not my instrument, but I was teaching in a mixed like situation. Yeah.
I mean every section I believe they have their own style of teaching because of the nature. Like what you say, for 管乐, for winds, right? If
they also
the
have
instructor
variation.
has to teach three instruments like 唢呐, shen, and 笛子, I believe is have to switch around also. Yeah, they have their own way of switching it around.
Okay, I just want to ask, is there an advantage if you know the instructor in the school?
Oh,
Okay.
the sensitive.
Sensitive question. So for my schools, right, if I'm an examiner or the instructor, they will ask us to declare, is there any private student under me that is coming for the DSA for the school? So they are not going to block. They are not going to block the student saying that your instructor is in that school, so you cannot go for the exam or something like that. I will just openly declare, yes, this student is coming for DSA. This student is trying for the DSA, and I can just upfront tell you that he reached the criteria, but he still have to go through all the process. Okay. Of course there are advantages because I, as the instructor, I will tell him what is the process already. You understand? So that he don't need to go in blindly. Yeah. But I can ensure you that all is quite 公正. It is quite fair because we already declared to the school. Yeah, we already declared to the school that this is my student. So the school will take extra conscious in this matter. Yeah, like maybe in case of any other parents who kids never get in, they say that, oh, he's the instructor, that's why the child got in. Yeah, Gaylong or something like that. But we are openly declaring, say that this is the student. So they will take special care. So whatever our results is, right, if there's a second examiner, right, my result will not be considered. Yeah, if there's a second examiner. So I think to be fair for this. Yeah, and if there's more than 5 examiner, right, let's say if this is like one of the instructor student, right, the instructor will not be taken, any view he won't be taken. That means his point won't be recorded. So it's our side. It's from our side. Yeah, so this is how it works. But for the process, right, it is definitely an advantage because I believe all instructors will tell the students, hey, so this is the process. Okay,
Yeah.
please prepare this properly. You are going to read, you are going to go through sight reading. But I think this process is quite transparent because everyone knows the process.
Yeah.
And in fact, this process is being written on the paper itself already.
Like what are the things
you need to prepare?
the
And then you
requirements?
can ask the school will openly tell
Yeah.
you what.
Yeah,
You
so
can
I think
always
it's quite
inquire.
open. It's quite open.
Yeah.
Okay. I have a few questions for Mr. Neo. Okay. I'm sure these are the questions that a lot of parents would like to know. Well, first is, if I'm preparing my child for DSA and he or she has not picked up any instrument, what instrument would have the best advantage?
None.
The first like, why?
No experience.
Yeah, no experience. I mean, the person is like P3 lah, you know.
Oh,
in view-
P3.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in view of DSA to secondary school. Would you say that
Chinese instrument.
Yeah, Chinese instrument. Would you say like Suona, because you were saying that if the school really wants a Suona, and Suona players are very difficult to find,
Yes,
good players
correct.
lah. So would
Like these rare instruments.
would learning those instruments that less people
Would it give you
not less people that has less
competitors?
yeah.
Okay, for me, as a as a educator, as a examiner for the DSA, in that view, in that point of view, right? I think wins player other than Di Zi is a very good advantage. Yeah.
Sheng and
Okay,
Sona.
or maybe I just say the lighter the instrument, the disadvantage you have.
the lighter
The lighter the
Di Zi
instrument.
instrument, the
Because
more
most of the
disadvantage,
parents, right, when choosing instruments, right, they will just, hey, you choose Di Zi lah, this is light enough. Then we move around. You choose the 二胡 比较轻点点. No one's want 琵琶 because 琵琶 very heavy.
See?
Yeah. Cello very heavy, bass very heavy. Yeah. But of course, for winds player, right, I will always welcome Sheng and Sona. Yeah, I will always welcome them because I think these two instruments, not much of of
Players.
not much players. And also
student
for
learning.
primary school student, to master Sona is also one of the harder point because they are not fully grown yet. So they actually don't know how to control most of their
breathing.
their body parts. Am I correct to say that?
Like your lip.
Yeah,
the-
something like that 就是还不是很会控制。
Diaphragm.
Actually, for primary school students to learn 琵琶 is also very hard.
Yeah.
It's very, very hard because the instrument is actually way beyond that.
It's very hard for
They have to
instructor
finish.
also.
They have to use all their 5 fingers. Sometimes their pinky not strong enough how to do the 轮奏. So yeah. But for 二胡 players, right, I can tell you there are tons of 二胡 players. Because 二胡number one is actually quite easy to
Pick
play.
up.
To pick up lah. I wouldn't say 二胡 is a easy instrument to pick up, but it's easy for you to play sound out.
Easy to pick up, like very light.
把那个声音拉出来是蛮容易的 but of course in order to reach a certain level you need a lot of training lah. I believe all instruments are okay. Do not attempt 古筝.
too many guzheng players. Already.
Yeah, because
They need to learn new instrument when they enter lah. Is it?
Because guzheng not much use.
But guzheng is for guzheng ensembles.
yeah, I mean for 古筝 ensemble lah, yes, but
In the Chinese orchestra context.
yes, but I don't recall got 古筝 DSA in
Chinese
ensemble.
orchestra.
Chinese orchestra, right? Most likely you just need one 古筝 player.
So
Yeah.
guzheng player comes in needs to learn another instrument like zhongran.
Yes, all my
Oh,
古筝
Liu Qi.
player has two
Instruments.
instruments.
But they will
Yeah.
not choose a guzheng player who comes for DSA to Chinese orchestra. Right? They would choose other instruments.
Yeah,
First
which
lah, the rank lor.
which is I want to add on to a question that Lao Pan. So imagine this scenario. I have a very top grade 二胡 student coming for DSA, like win every single competition.
Wow, I
Great.
want.
But then versus a subpar Sona or Sheng player.
Not say subpar like that.
Okay,
Let's
like
say average lah.
Average, okay, average. Who can play combined pieces? Intonation is very 准. Which one would you choose?
Tough lor.
Yeah,
Tough choice.
both can sight read well.
If
Wow.
if this is the case, right, I might request the school to give me 2 DSA slots. Yeah,
You
if
want
this is
best
the
of
case.
both worlds.
Of course lah.
Yeah, but now you have only one choice: the very top grade
If I
player or
only
the
have-
average Sona Sheng.
I will try to convince the school to have a second, to have a second. Because I don't want to waste both of them. Really, I don't want to let go of any chance. If I really can only choose one,
You see your SYF.
it will really have to depends on the
Lacking.
the day that year what I have for my team. Lor.
Okay.
Yeah, really. So I'm not saying that I'm not answering your question, but I don't know how to answer.
But at the
also.
same time, it's not really fair game lah. Like if my instrument is rare, then I sort of get a higher advantage. In some sense.
Most likely it is. Most likely sometimes. I would say for my case, yes.
Yeah. So it's
Yeah.
it's depend on school kind of situation also
Yeah,
lah.
but for 古筝 right, it's a bit because there's also 古筝 ensemble, but I don't know whether they can DSA into
Yeah.
they can DSA
They can,
into
they can.
古筝 ensemble. Then
Yes.
then they should go for the 古筝 ensemble.
But not every school has guzheng ensemble ma.
Yeah.
Same lah. Not every school has Chinese orchestra.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
so
for
it-
古筝to DSA into Chinese orchestra, I don't see the advantage anywhere lah. Yeah, I don't see the advantage. So try. That's why. Like what I say, don't try 古筝. Yeah, don't
Not
try
not say
古筝.
don't try guzheng lah, but I think
Find a school with guzheng ensemble.
Yeah, 古筝 ensemble and DSA there.
Yeah. Because
So-
guzheng is quite a popular instrument.
Yeah, so for parents, if you're planning DSA, you should look at the schools that have guzheng ensemble.
Yes.
If you want your child to learn guzheng, so don't learn guzheng and thinking that you can go into a school that has Chinese orchestra. Yeah,
Yeah.
no.
Oh, I got a question. So should parents actually look at DSA schools first before deciding for their students or like their child to choose an instrument?
I mean,
Like plan early.
That's too
start
early.
P3.
That's way very
Is
early.
it too early?
Okay lah. I mean, DSA is just one of the ways of getting into the school lah. I mean, I think that you cannot be too deliberate. Like plan the whole life of your
Or your
of your
child.
child based on that. Like, okay, I want you to go into that school via DSA. You have to learn Sona. When it's
Yeah, like maybe
E3.
after they heard this, maybe they heard this podcast, okay, this is what I'm going to do for my child.
Yeah, I mean the child will be if the child
So
really hates
sad.
Sona,
Next time you see like a pig in Sona players.
which is what a lot of people cannot stand, and you really just because of DSA you want the kid to go and learn. I mean it's a bit hard on the kid okay.
I would rather focus my kid more on the academic rather than say, oh, you learn the soda from now from
Yeah,
primary
don't
3.
study, just play.
Yeah, I think it's
Okay,
a bit-
maybe the parent is like the artistic type.
Yeah.
Who knows?
if it's an artistic type,
But
right?
they also look in academics, right? Like
Yes,
the
yes.
artistic schools.
So I think the correct attitude to your child's to the future of your child should be academic first. Unless you are going the professional musician way. Yeah, but if it's just you want them to go through the normal secondary school, JC
Uni.
/ poly or uni, right? I think it's always academic.
Yeah.
Always academic. Anyway, for music, I always think that for amateur playing, right, it's supposed to be relaxing.
It's for fun.
Yeah,
lah.
it's for fun, it's for hobby, it's for you
Make
to
friends.
make friends, yes,
Yeah.
and also to make music amateurly. Okay, once you touch on this professional road, it's not going to be easy and it's no more fun.
Do you find it fun?
That's a podcast for another day.
Yeah, that's definitely another episode. We can invite Mr. Neo again.
sometimes. So instead of focusing your child primary 3 on that instrument for DSA, right, I think the money is better spent on academic. Yeah, because that is the better. I think that's the better way to get into the JC or the poly that you want. Yeah. So unless your child, when they are playing on primary 3, when they learn that instrument, you find that there's a special talent that you have. Yeah, you can play the instrument very well. Even the instructors are giving very good feedbacks on your child, right? Then from that point onwards, then I think you should consider DSA. Yeah. And also 不要临时抱佛脚
Don't do last minute.
Yeah, don't do last minute
Don't.
planning. Yeah, because
Already experienced it.
honestly telling you,
Yeah.
there's too many parents. Okay, text me, say, okay, my son, my daughter wants to get into blah 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 JC, blah 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 secondary school. He or she has experience playing the instrument. For me, it's erhu for 2 to 3 years in the school only. That's it. No grading taken, no nothing, anything. So what are the chances? Is it high? I cannot tell you how high the chances is because it depends on the school also. Really, if the secondary school or JC has no erhu player, of course your child has super high chances. I have no erhu players. So recruiting a new erhu player is very beneficial for the school. But if you really want to do that, right, on the very last minute basis, what we can do is to help you reach the bare minimum. Like maybe I try to let your child get the grade 3, grade 5. Okay, at least on paper you can see it. And because reaching grade 3, grade 5 is also an increase in skills. Yeah, we are increasing the skills. But for sight reading, right, it is built according to how many years you are in the orchestra. It's not being built within 2-3 months. It's impossible. I think for musicians, you all should know, right? 不可能是2-3天你就 you can reach that level.
2-3年
Yeah, you need around 2-3 years, maybe even more. Up to now, I'm still sight reading. I don't think I'm good at it. Yeah, so
Excuse me.
yeah, so it's like don't think that it's a miracle. We are miracle workers.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's what
we
I
can
keep
try
saying.
to help you attain the bare minimum lah. Yeah, so after that, within that few months, and don't come on the last week because
Wow, that one's scary.
You
2
have-
weeks are already. I received before. I have audition in 2 weeks. Can you prepare my kids?
yeah.
Excuse me. We
Yeah.
try.
we will try to help you because we cannot reject. You understand? So yeah, we cannot reject. So we will try to help you, but I can tell you that it's not it's not
doable.
It's not really doable.
Yeah, set your expectations low.
Very low.
Yeah, because we also understand that you want your child to get into a better place. We fully understand that. I am also a parent. I also want my kids to get the better choices in their life. Yeah, we also wanted that. But sometimes it's not. If you started very, very late, it's also very hard for us to actually to help you with this thing. Really, we can only try our very best, but we can tell you the outcome is not very good.
Because you need to think of like every day like they have to go to school, then after that they have to do homework, go for tuition.
A lot of things to cope.
A lot of things to cope. So they might get tired by the time they reach our side. Then you're like...
So to briefly summarize, if you want to go the DSA route, right? Yes, plan early and also monitor your child. Monitor your child throughout. If it's primary school, right? Maybe P3 when they pick up the instrument. Sec 1 when they pick up the instrument, okay, and try to see whether they have this potential to grow or not. Okay, if they are like coming in back with their instrument, practicing every day, then that means that your child really loves this instrument. If they come back, they dump the instrument there, then only during CCA they bring it to their CCA, then they come back, they just dump it there. Okay, it means that it's not a very good chance lah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not a very good chance lah. Of course, you can like encourage your child to practice. Sometimes this also helps. And if you encourage and they start to practice, as long as your child is practicing the instrument, sooner or later he or she will love the instrument. Yeah, if they started to practice. Okay, then after that, you consider the route of DSA. Yeah, because and maybe around P4 you will start to think already. Say, okay, this might be a very good choice. Okay, maybe I send it for music lessons in music school or something like that, so that I can further grow. So by the time when you reach P6, right, you basically don't need to prepare for anything.
Yes.
Really, you don't need to prepare for anything. Just send your kid to the audition. That's it. You don't need to find any tutor to like last minute change you for nothing, because he's very well prepared already. And throughout all these years, he or she has been training so hard for it. For their gradings, for everything. You don't need to actually specially prepare for the DSA. DSA is just like normal combine. You just enter the combine. Your instructor give you new score, then you, okay lor, then I just play. Okay, I can make it. Then that's it already. Maybe for the interview part, it's a bit different but for the playing part, it's like that. It's very easy for them. Or if it's like last minute, I have to try to do this, I think it's very bad for the child. So they are also stressful. Number two, and the parents might like have high hopes for it. Say that, my son can play this instrument, he or she is going to get in. No, I don't think so. Yeah, you need to prepare quite early for that. So if you see the potential in your child, right, it is better to let them have private tutor, music school. What the school can teach is the very, very bare minimum to make sure they can survive in the combine. They cannot
main focus is
on the student, because it's not fair. Especially for my group, my Hu Qing is always the biggest group. Always. 最多人的一个人要掌握整个胡琴组是最多人的 So I have sometimes close to like 30 to 40 people under me sometimes. I don't know how to teach. Every time, you all should know, right, go for sectionals is 180 minutes. Correct. If I have 30 students, every student only 6 minutes. How to teach? 你怎么教一个6分钟 If I have to divide very equally, so it's literally impossible for me to teach any like 有用的东西 to your kid for 6 minutes. Okay, so that's about.
We have reached the end of our episode. It's quite a long episode, but I'm so glad that we had such a deep dive into DSA. So we want to thank Mr. Nyo once again for sharing so much into this DSA. But of course, to the parents who are listening, right, DSA is a really long process. I mean, to reach that point. So do prepare your child early. And of course, there are places that offer music lessons that none other than here in Eason Music. So if you're interested to find out more about having your child start with private lessons, do approach us at our shop or just go to easonmusicschool.com to find out more. And once again, thank you, Mr. Nyo, for appearing. We would definitely want you to come back again for another episode. Yeah, definitely.
And my mic today is sponsored by City Music and of course Zoom as well. This is a podcast mic with a set of podcast headphones.
Sounds really good.
nice.
Like, it
Yeah, it
sounds
sounds
really
good.
nice.
Yeah, starting to hear myself more. And I'm sexy. So, once again, I'm Anson.
I'm big.
I'm Sanghua.
We're from Eason Music. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Coffee Chat. See you in the next one.
Bye.
Bye.